Welcome to the next episode of the Ecom Growth Show. I'm your host, Damon Coleman, founder of Ecom Triage, and I've got Peter-Paul Maan from Intellivy with me to talk about consumer behavior and what you should be doing and what you should not be doing about when it comes to polling or split testing your images and your product details pages. So, Peter, thank you very much for being on the podcast. Would you please do a little introduction about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, well, thank you. So yeah, who I am. My name is Peter Paul. You already said it. And yeah, I'm working at Intellivy. In fact, it was never like that. So we started as an Amazon seller in 2014, and
Hmm.
I brought the traditional sales to the online space. I did already since a few years, even back to 2008. So, and within Intellivy, I'm working each day on optimizing Amazon listings for a bunch of brands. And I'm always figuring out like what does the journey look like from the specific consumer for that specific product to figure out like what is generating the click, what is generating the conversion, and to optimize listings via that route. So yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. And so you are a consumer behavior specialist. That obviously has a lot to do when it comes to figuring out what the customer journey is and what it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
So can you tell me what can Intellivy do for brands and some of the new features that are now live on the Intellivy platform that help these brands out?
Yeah, I think we first have to go back to the first one because indeed, consumer behavior specialist, you do not hear that every day. And it'll
Yeah.
almost make me sound like a doctor. You know, if I see someone in front of me, then I know what they want and I can help them to decide. And in
Yeah.
fact, that's exactly what I can do. And I mean
Okay.
that. I'm doing that for over 30 years. I just love people behavior. So we call that consumer behavior, of course, because we are in the e-com space and we are working in sales and Amazon sellers. So they expect sales. They want to have, and let's be honest, a listing on Amazon has to be a conversion machine. So that's what everybody wants to hear. But it basically comes down to helping someone choose. That's what sales is to me. It is like asking questions and understand like what is it that you want. And even if someone is saying at the end of the day when I'm offering a service or product and they say no, when it's the conversation with me, honestly, 100% sure it's a no because it's a no. And
Hmm.
that's fine. But most of the time it becomes a yes because you understand what they want. So, we brought that into the Intellivy platform because understanding each level of a decision on its own and seeing like what is it that you're communicating via a listing or via an image and then understand via the feedback what people like and dislike, that is going to help you to understand that sales conversation. And you bring that sales conversation in your listing images and in the listing itself. Now, and if you
Right.
ask me about new features, in line with this story. So yes, you can test images for optimizing clicks. Yes, you can test complete listing galleries, like the full stacks of images for optimizing conversion. You can test A plus content, also possible. You can run an impact poll to see how people respond in an attention span of 2 seconds. And is the message coming across? But we also have a pricing report. So the pricing
Mm.
report is going to help you understand your price elasticity, and it's going to help you also understand like, hey, what is the optimal price point for your product? We have product sample campaign that is going much further than just asking a respondent by the screen, like, hey, which image do you like? No, it's getting the product in the hand of the consumer, even a split test. So your product up against competition and do a scent test or taste test or an experience with the packaging by itself or the quality test, whatever you want to do. So we create a survey
Okay.
and
Lots of
yeah.
things. So I think it's important that people know. Well, first of all, I believe that not many Amazon sellers know that technologies like yours exist where they can test before they test with the real thing, right? And it is
Yeah.
critically important that you do have the best option for or the best listing built tailored to exactly your audience, right?
Yeah,
Because
and I have to admit
if
you're right. So indeed, not everybody seems to know what we do, and we are not the only one, of course. but it's interesting. So I hope that everybody who's listening right now or watching, that you do know manage your experiments, for instance, by Amazon, so that you can do split testing on Amazon itself. And now just to give that as a base. So let's say you're selling on Amazon and you discovered that. Now that's great. So then you're probably testing A versus B. So you're testing an option one for your main image and the second one to see what is generating more clicks. The thing is that, first of all, it's going to take quite some time before you have the results. But then if you have a winner, you do not know why.
Right.
Now, and to me, like if I compare it with traditional sales, let's say that you have a salesman and you're paying him a salary each month. And he's spending 8 weeks driving by his car through the country or through a state, visiting customers. And then after 8 weeks, you have some results. You want to know what he's telling to the customers and where he convert and where not. Because you want to learn, like, hey, listen, dude, the next 8 weeks that you're going out, I'm going to train you to make sure that you're going to ask these specific questions, because each time when you did that, you had a sale. Now, the same applies to an Amazon listing. You need to understand what is generating that click. Why is someone seeing that hook on the second image so that they say, now your product is the best option, I go for that one.
Okay.
Without
And
that,
how do
of
you do
course,
that?
also. Well, how do you do that? Well, if I compare it with a sales story, so of course we are just now speaking in general and are not naming any examples, but whatever product it might be, so you're holding there a water bottle, let's take that one. If someone is buying a water bottle, then there are some requirements that they have. So it might be that you buy it for your daughter because she's going to high school. And it might be that you're just looking for a complete plastic-free water bottle. And by the way, speaking about that, I can tell you, if you go to Amazon, none of them are, because all of them have a straw. So
Right.
even if they say it's plastic-free, then still there's a plastic straw in there. Now that brings me to an interesting point. Who's going to be the first one to dive into that market and sell a water bottle without a plastic straw? And then the question is,
Yeah.
of course, is that going to work? I don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the best I've seen is a silicone straw, right?
Yeah,
But that's
close to
still
it.
a
But
plastic.
yeah, and so my wife, for instance, she's freaking out if we just have a pen that is so. Although you have like all the labels with what is it? I'm Dutch, so I don't know. It's like all the
The rec-
chemicals, like it's free of
the
chemicals and everything.
receipts and the chemicals in the receipts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. That's come across my plate. So my wife is what in America we call a crunchy mom. That's
How
the name. A crunchy. They're crunchy.
crunchy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where that came from, don't ask me. But my wife is a crunchy mom, and a crunchy mom is someone that goes really deep into what's actually in this food, what's in this product, how does it
yeah,
test, right? And so, for instance, in my house, we've eliminated all plastic, uh, like Ziploc containers and stuff like that, and we're now using only glass and metal.
yeah.
So stainless steel
Yeah,
and
so my
glass.
wife and your wife could be friends. I hear that right
Yes,
now. So
likely.
it's kind of like they can start their own community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Now the trick is to make money on this because in I I don't know the exact number, but I know that we have spent hundreds of dollars on
yeah,
just lunchbox stuff for the kids because they are all like these stamped stainless steel bento box style lunchboxes that then go into their main lunchbox. And these all these other little things with silicone tops and yeah, we've spent a lot of money. It's not just Ziploc bags anymore.
exactly.
So the
Yeah.
question is how do we find out what people are looking for and deliver that in the customer journey on an Amazon details page?
What I'm doing right now, so when you're just speaking about the crunchy mom, and I didn't know that, but
Hmm.
then I can make it a bit practical how my mind works and share it a bit. So I'm just using AI now. I'm using ChatGPT. So you hear me typing. That was me.
Hmm.
And I'm just asking like, hey, what words and benefits are triggering crunchy moms? So words and benefits that are triggering crunchy moms. Because let's be honest, if you're focusing on crunchy moms, then you want to say something that is triggering them. Because if they're scrolling on the page, you want to have that specific word, boom, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, the
Don't
list,
poison your children with lead, you know?
yeah, well, that's by the way an interesting angle to choose. Don't. So speak with don't. And by the way, that brings me already to a very interesting topic if you're testing it. If you're scrolling on the page and everybody's saying natural, organic, non-toxic, clean, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden
it's
one there is
positive.
in there saying like, don't do this or don't waste, or you show a dead fish, whatever. Like,
Yeah. So
yeah, but
you're
that,
talking about positive
yeah,
marketing or
positive,
negative
negative.
marketing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
already worth testing. But if I'm just looking at the words, so I'm asking words and benefits, and everybody likes to use AI because that is giving us all the answers, which is not. Then I get a list here: natural, organic, non-toxic, clean, gentle, pure, safe, sustainable, plant-based, eco-friendly, cruelty-free, biodegradable, whole ingredients, holistic, fair trade, handmade, minimal. Now, pick one if your listing has just a limit of what is it, 200 characters in the title and the main image. Which one will be the first? And what are you going to do?
Yeah. I would just make that my title. All those keywords, just stuff it right in my title. That should convert, right?
Gonna work. Then no, 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 no. If you hire a bot to buy your products for you, then you can maybe do it. Then it might work. But
Yeah.
if you do it
Unfortunately,
yourself,
Amazon and Google are blocking bots from actually purchasing products for you, at
so
least
it's
right
not gonna
now.
work.
Um, on the subject of AI, what do AI generated images mean for design professionals and branding in general?
Well, first of all, I think it's amazing. It's so cool what you can do with it. Like I'm so a year ago, it's like really, what is it? A year ago, it's so rapidly growing. It's crazy. A year ago, I was just sitting on my couch in the evening, and then finally have my time, like it's me time, and I'm sitting there and just looking YouTube videos. But right now, I'm using AI. And I'm just making a photo of an item in the living room and start creating images. And within split second, you have something. It's great. So that said, that's amazing what you can do with it. It's so cool. And I use it, by the
Yeah.
way, almost every day to test concepts. But that brings me to the point what I do not like about AI. Um, at a certain point, if you do it a lot, you're going to see consistency in a bad way. It's a bit boring. So when I'm asking give me a scene of a birthday party, and someone is giving a gift, so a mother to a daughter, and I even describe a 60-year-old to a 35-year-old brunette, whatever. So I can be very precise. Then the birthday party scene in the background, everybody has a smile that looks like, I don't know. Yeah, it's a shot that is so not realistic. And then if you really look closely, you see also patterns in how hands are. So you see then consistency, and everybody's almost in the same pose, and that's weird. It's weird. I also see it symmetrical. It's so crazy symmetrical at a level that there's no cameraman out there, even the most experienced one, who can do that. And I think that's something you have to pay attention to. So if you do not really, I want to say that, like, of course, I also want to have all those designers out there that they have still future, and yeah, it's so cool to do. I'm also a creative person. I love Photoshop
So
still.
you still use Photoshop?
Oh yeah, yeah, I do. What is the difference between having a shortcode on your phone, and if you uh, type 3 digits and then 10 minutes later your wife get a flowers, or I go out, I drive, I forgot my umbrella, I walk through the rain, and before the store closes, I drop into the flower shop, pick some flowers myself, like this one, this one, this one, giving some extra money because the guy who's making the flower for me is also spending some extra time, and then I go back and I give it to my wife. All of it together is bringing some passion and some energy from me in that
Hmm.
moment. And I think with images, it's the same thing. Before you know it, you get a bunch of boring stuff generated by AI.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm by no means am I a professional, but I have built and designed websites using Photoshop many, many years ago. And I believe that using AI for images is a really good way to bridge the gap between a creative person and a non-creative person that has no skills
Voila.
or no capabilities of using. And it also significantly reduces the cost. So you can take a sketch of what you have in mind and say, this is kind of what I want it to look like. Throw that into AI, give it a decent prompt. I think prompting is one of the most important things when it is definitely is. Like, if you think about, did you ever play with Midjourney?
No, no.
So Midjourney, like all of us know about well, not all of us. Like we've all known about Dolly in ChatGPT, which was not that great, right? We now have Nano Banana from Google in Gemini, which people are saying is astounding and amazing. I found it to be pretty okay. Midjourney has has been at the forefront of AI image generation, but the prompts, oh my gosh, you nearly had to be a programmer to give the proper prompts. And that got reduced. But you would actually say, I want a focal length of 1.4, and I want, a focal length of 50 millimeters, aperture 1.4, ISO
Yeah.
600, and the background to be this, that, and the other. And it's just way beyond what anyone would do. So, and you can get a good, it's not just images here, but you can get a good output from any AI with a good input. It's like, if you think of it like this, you hire someone to do a job and you say, please do your job. Right. And they go, well, what is my job? Like, oh, well, you should know that. I hired you to do your job. Or you say, welcome aboard. Here's your position, all of the SOPs involved. Start here, go through this. Here's how you do these things. Great. Next week, we do on the job training, and now they can do their job. Right. And so an AI is the same. You have to tell it how to do its job. Or alternatively, and a lot of people don't do this, ask it how you should ask it to do its job,
That's
to perform a
that's what I
function.
do. That's what I do.
Yeah,
I use
that's probably the
ChatGPT now.
best way.
Yeah, I use ChatGPT to generate my prompts, and then I throw it into
Mhm.
Nano Banana. And
Yeah,
that way, for instance, I dropped a post. What is it? Day before yesterday on LinkedIn, like how to avoid because if you don't, then faces just repeat the same expressions. That's what I meant, and backgrounds stay
yeah,
neat, and framing is not perfectly. The framing is perfectly centered. So what I'm recommending here is like uh, to add live, tweak your prompts, and you have to go to say candid photo or say natural expression or say
right,
unpost and
right.
even go crazy like add imperfection. If you say add imperfection, wind in the hair or messy
Yeah,
background, but
yeah,
mid action, you can create changes that are so. And again, it's so amazing. It's so cool. You can create great stuff,
yeah, for
but
sure.
don't lose yourself because that's something. So don't lose yourself in the fact that you can do this stuff, because what I'm doing in the evening instead of watching YouTube shorts, before you know it, you are taking this with you in your daily job, thinking like this is my job right now. But that's not true, because then we have to go
Well,
back to where I started with. We are speaking about Amazon listing optimization and getting more sales. So hey, listen
yeah,
guys, whoever is listening right now, yes, create images in AI, and yes, prompt correctly, but do think about it. What is it that you want to communicate on that image? Because that's absolutely the main goal.
yeah. Well said, and nice job on tying it back to the original thing rather than our
Yeah,
10-minute
I have
rant.
to.
But yeah, so there's pictures, and then there's marketing, and every single one of your marketing and sales and every one of your pictures should drive it, anyone looking at it, closer to making a purchasing decision. All right, so
Exactly.
nice little digression there, but let's go on to the next question. For listing optimization or launching a new product, how can brands deal with the problem of Me Too products?
Yeah. Well, I think we can continue with our specific demographic of the crunchy mom
Sure,
because
let's do it.
it's a very good example. And the thing is, if you look at a category, whatever category it might be, you're going to see that it's a bunch of Me Too products. And it's also logical because, well, back in the days, you have some bestsellers. Most categories have them. So you have listings live for 4,000 days, whatever. And those guys are just beating everybody. Why? Because the algorithm is so weird. And that's just how the system works. And they have the external traffic and frequently bought together and whatever. So, yeah. So you can pay attention to that one and say, like, well, this one is doing a good job, so I have to copy that. No, not true. Because it comes down to what is it that people really need and what is it that they want. That brings me to the point. If you have like a category full of Me Too products, and sometimes I see that I'm just looking at supplements, and you scroll down, and then the only difference is colors. But if you look at it like curcuma or probiotic,
Mhm.
everybody's doing probiotic. So I'm scrolling like, yeah. So now what? So the only differentiator I have is price and ratings and, well, maybe color that seems attractive to me. But is that it? So if you have the opportunity, for instance, to have the video on your page, like on the search page, you're paying for that. What is the exact message? So that again, back to the crunchy mom. And you gave that example, which I really like. Like, do not want, or whatever. That message, like, boom, in the first second, that might already grab the attention. That is pointed towards your branding, and that brings me to the most important thing. You can copy the product, but you cannot copy the brand. That's impossible. So you have to create a branding and create a story that is connecting with the customer. So that's number one. So searching is like breaking the pattern. I'm just saying, like, hey, you have to create a brand. It has to connect with the consumer. It has to connect with the buyer. That's important. Like, really, it is. That's going to make a difference. Another part is, again, the Me Too products and the categories that we are scanning all the time. Of course, we use review data. Of course. I understand that.
Mhm.
You have to understand the post-sale analysis. You have to understand why are people rejecting certain products, or what is the reason that they do like it. However, think about the psychological thing of people who are buying stuff. If someone is buying a product and they drop a negative review, 99% of all cases is because it's a piece of junk. It's just not coming even close to the expectation of what they purchased. So they're like, what?
I
Now,
mean, I
do you
deal in
think?
negative review removal. The other percentage, I
Yeah,
mean,
okay,
you're
that's of
missing
course.
the fact that there's the attacks and fraud and stuff like that,
Of
but
course. So no,
you're
I'm not
you're
missing
talking
that,
about
but of course.
legitimate reviews.
Okay. That's a good additional note. I agree.
Yeah,
It's
but
true.
but you
But
you're speaking of legitimate reviews.
I'm speaking about legitimate. Yeah, that's what I speak about. Exactly. And most of the time, it's about the product itself. It's about the quality. People just think it's a piece of junk. So the only thing that remains is you have to create a product that's better. So you have to make it better. Quality. That's it. Now, the other part, the positive reviews. The thing is, if I'm buying a product, sometimes I have that moment. I buy something and then I'm unpacking it. And again, let's go back to the wife because we both have a crunchy wife. So we understand each other now. Um, she might say like, what if, what is this? Like, and then I'm already
Mhm,
defending it. Why? It's my journey. It's my
mhm.
journey. I was searching for something. I made up my mind. I hit at the cart button. I did the purchase. I paid it. I'm waiting for it. I was even like sometimes in the moment, like in the track and trace, following it. Is it coming to me? So when I have it and I'm glad that I did it, then yes, I'm going to send it out. But what is it that I'm sending out? I'm sending out a summary of the moment why I purchased that product. Now, that brings me to the point of pre-sale testing, polling, testing outside Amazon in a simulated environment, the way we do it at Intellivy, and also the way that you can do it in other tools, but you have to do it in our tool because we're the best. If you do that, you're going to ask, if you're buying a water bottle or if you're buying whatever, what is important to you? Now, that's going to expose insights that most of the time are not even visible in post-sale analysis. I've seen it so many times. It's just not there. And why is that? Because it's a sea of Me Too products. Everybody's copying. So at a certain level, it just stops. There's no innovation. There's nothing new. It's just, you're not
Until
breaking.
you
You're
get a
not
water
break.
bottle that tracks how much you've drank.
Yeah, exactly. But back to that ChatGPT example that I gave you, crunchy rum triggers. Let's say
Mhm.
that post-sale analysis and scrolling the pages on the level of what listing images and content is doing. If natural, organic, and non-toxic and clean and gentle is the most dominant in everywhere, what is everybody doing? Equalizing. Why? Yeah, I cannot skip that because I need to have that word in there. That has to be in there. So we're equalizing. And I get that because you have to equalize because if it's missing, you're not a good opportunity, or not a good option. But what is it that you add to it to make a difference? What is it that you break the pattern? You become the new original that someone else
Yeah,
is going to copy. You're the one
got it.
each time looking for, but I'm new. And you do that over the route of branding. You.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well, we're about out of time here. I'm going to ask my last question for you. So, when split testing images or product detail pages, what are the best practices that every seller should employ?
Yeah. The most important thing is that you understand what is it that you're testing. And to give you one example, now a few examples. If you're testing color, test color. So
Mhm.
everything is the same. You only test color. So if you're testing a water bottle, make sure that the way that it's presented, the way that it's standing, the size, everything, the logo on it, everything the same. Only color is a change. If you're testing specific benefits like storytelling and how people what is it that they like or dislike, then take all the quantitative aspects out of it. So sometimes I see that people are testing images and then one is a set of 2 and the other one is a set of 4. Now, what's going to happen? You're going to get feedback on set of 2 and 4 and color and text. So
So
always
test
be
one thing at a
consistent.
time.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not doing it, so if you're really throwing it out there, let's go for it, then invest some money because then you need really a decent amount of reviews. And I hear like it's almost like a trend. Hey, you can test split testing, $50. Let's go for it. But that's nuts because you need statistical significance. And not because the tool is saying it with a percentage like boom, you have it. No, because the logical thing is you need a decent amount of respondents to get a decent and statistical significant answer. And then you have to place it into buckets because if you have feedback on design, then that's a bucket. If you have feedback on benefits, that's a bucket. If you have feedback on quantitative elements, that's a bucket. You have to spread it because otherwise you do not understand what's happening. And again, that's the same as in a sales story. If I'm in a sales conversation with someone, I'm going to create buckets in my head and I'm going to listen to that consumer. What is important to you? Is it really color? Nah, I don't think so. That's it. So that's where I got you. Then I'm gonna say like, so this is really what you want, right? Yeah, yeah. And that's not what you want. No. Okay, so if I hear it clearly, then this is what you want to buy, right? Yeah, yeah. No, that.
Okay, cool. So then what would be the process that you using Intellivy, what would be the process that you think that every brand should do? Test this, then this, then this. Give us the first 3.
Yeah. So first of all, I would say you have to determine what is it that you want to optimize CDR, CVR. And if you already have listing active, you would do that most likely via brand analytics and then the SQP dashboard. I'm saying it very quickly now, but that means that you're checking on SQP data. How is my conversion up against the benchmark in the category? Or how is my click rate, my CTR up against the benchmark in the category on ASIN level? Why? Because that is going to tell you like this is the low-hanging fruit. If my conversion is, for instance, a bit lower than the benchmark, but my CDR is like crazy high, work on your conversion because that's going to deliver money instantly. And I'm not here to invite you to spend money on polling just to do so. No, I'm here to help you make more money. So that's number one. Then if you say, for instance, I'm going to optimize on conversion, now then you're going to test listing images. That's absolutely what you have to do. Now then you come to the point, if you're going to say, for instance, via Data Dive or other tool, that these are my main competitors, or you just check by Keepa, whatever you do, whatever. And these are my main competitors because they have the most sales. If the quantitative elements are so different, then your result of testing is going all over the place. So you have to equalize that. You have to bring it back to, let's say I'm testing communication method number 1 of listing number 1, but I'm going to create the same amount of, well, volume or whatever. I did it recently with probiotics. I'm not going to test 120 up against 60. I test 120
Mhm.
up against 120, and all is
Mhm.
chicken. Then if the taste is chicken, then everybody's chicken. Even if there's a better seller that is doing duck, then I'm just skipping the duck.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think in the duck listing, I see some elements that they're doing in the images. You know what? I'm going to change that and create an image and make it chicken. The reason is I want to understand what is it that makes that product listing better than the other one. And the same applies. So you're asking me 3 steps, but that's my first step. Then if you have the answers, you're going to write down like, okay, what is the reason why people like these images? I'm going to write down benefits. So if you go back to probiotics, it's, for instance, people really praise the fact that the ingredients, it's all natural. Then you go further. Like I like the fact that, so this was probiotics for a dog, that they give me a recommendation on dog size. So everything comes in line. It's vet recommended. In what way is it vet recommended? By showing a vet? No way, don't do that because it looks fake. So it has to be a badge. Now, that brings me to
Okay.
hypothesis. And then you're going to isolate it. So then you're going to say like, okay, I have this concept, for instance, to communicate vet recommended. Option 1, option 2, option 3 in an isolated test. A versus B
I'm gonna
versus
be
C or
Pe- Peter Paul. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't ever want to do this. So if like I would never do this. So if people wanted to get a hold of you, do you help them with the onboarding process and
Yeah,
stuff
we
like that
do.
over in
So
Tel Aviv?
that's really good
Okay.
invitation. We
Good.
do because
Good.
so the tool is what we've built. So everything is in there with training material, everything, and we have like some power users or like users who are really doing this what I'm telling you because they follow training, etc. But we are also offering white glove, so that
Okay,
means
good.
that we do it for you.
All right. And
We
where
do
can
it
people
for
get a
you.
hold of you?
Well, I hope you're going to share my LinkedIn and everything.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I
Intellivy.net.
can if you want me to. But so
Yeah.
Peter-Paul Maan on LinkedIn, that's the best way to get a hold of you.
That's the best way, or you can send me an email. That's Peter-Paul at Intellivy.net. So you can find me
Awesome.
on LinkedIn. You can go to our Intellivy website, Intellivy.net. Everything is in there. The sign up is always for free. So that's like you can explore our platform. You can sign
Nice.
up, and sometimes I think like, should we do that? Because before you know it, you get like a lot of people are interested but not really using it. We don't want that, of
Hmm.
course. We provide always a free sample pool if you start in our platform. So you have like a small, like a taste, like just to get an understanding of what it does. And then the support team is in there. Training is in there. You have a button to schedule demo with us, which is a round robin. So you might see me or one of my colleagues, and we are here to help. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Peter Paul, thank you very much for being on the podcast. And I appreciate you bringing here and bringing your knowledge. And at the end of the day, what I learned is there's no way that I would bother spending the time myself to do this. I'd have you guys do a white glove service. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I will see you at the next event.
Thank you very much.